Rocha to Moore, and it's off the woodwork!
Hello everyone and welcome to the live podcast of Off the Woodwork. We are here on the campus of Lesley University and we just witnessed the film Street Soccer New York. My name is Zach Rocha, Director of Sidekick Sports Academy, and let's introduce the panel who will be talking about the film and the message that you can get from it. To my immediate left, co-host of Off the Woodwork, Director of Moore Soccer Academy, MLS champion in 1999, Jason Moore. To his immediate left, Paul Vasconcelos, the head soccer coach here at Lesley University for the women, the Director of Soccer Operations, a multi-time conference coach of the year. And to his left, the Director of Street Soccer New York, Dan Hedges. So please welcome these three great men. Dan, we'll obviously start with you. First off, congratulations on the completion of the film. Thank you so much for sharing the story with us. I guess the first question is real simple. What was the drive and motivation behind creating it?
Yeah, thank you, Zach, for organizing this event and everybody for coming. So I guess started in 2008, 2009. I was working at a production company in New York City, and a coworker of mine and I were looking for an independent project that really spoke to us, and a documentary on a topic that we felt was important. We were searching all over, and we ended up reading an article in the New York Times, a very small blurb, about the Street Soccer New York team. Lawrence Canova, the coach, the players, what they had going on. So it really just jumped out at us. We're both sports fans. I grew up playing soccer in Needham, Massachusetts, and in high school continue to be a huge soccer fan. And that jumped out at us, as well as the social implications, the social impact that this team had. So it was a perfect topic for us to take on, and we approached the coach and the players, and they were happy to have us come by and start filming with them. So that's how it all started, really.
Great. Jason, this is the second time you and I have had the privilege of hosting a movie about soccer and social and cultural impact change. The other one being Next Goal Wins, which is about the national team for American Samoa, the worst national team in the world, and how they rose and got their first win in 10 years. And just another great story. Having seen Street Soccer New York now, what are the parallels you see between the stories?
Well, thanks for having me, Zach. Appreciate it. And thanks for everybody that came out tonight. I'd say some of the parallels would be, has anybody here seen the other movie? Okay. There we go. All right, we got a couple of fans out there.
Somebody legally watched it on YouTube. Right? Don't get his name.
I would say just from the social aspects, like he was talking about, just kind of giving back to the community, kind of giving back to these athletes that maybe would not have the opportunity to succeed really in life in general, and they're given the self-esteem, and they're given the confidence to be able to go back out in the real world and kind of be part of society, and doing that through soccer. I mean, what a better avenue a better platform to do that, and just have that camaraderie with your team, and then from that point it was interesting from my perspective to see in the movie what they went on to do, and that's great just to witness that. So
great. Paul, I had the privilege of calling you coach for 4 years. I'll always call you coach. Thank you for allowing us to have the venue. Thank you for allowing me to come home to my alma mater. You've had the privilege of experiencing the game of soccer at every possible level, from young all the way to professional. What does the game mean to you, beyond obviously the wins and the losses on the scoreboard?
First off, thank you for bringing it here, not just us accepting you. It's a great thing to see our alum, especially our soccer alum, do so many positive things in the community and everything that Zach's been doing through all the work that he's been doing out in the soccer world. But as far as the film basically reinforces everything I was already believing about soccer and what it's been in my life. Everything in this world that I have, from my wife to my kids to my house and everything, my career, is through soccer. So to see something like that be a vehicle towards so many people's enjoyment in their lives and improving their lives is always great to see. But I can't say enough nice things about some of the personalities and the characters. Jarvis is one that stuck with me. Still don't know really why, but Jarvis just seemed like he was really super happy to be there all the time and just liked being around. Had something almost like an obligation. He had to be somewhere, and he would never miss a practice. And from recycling the cans to getting his uniforms and all that stuff. But it's just a wonderful story, and it's always great when soccer's involved in it.
Now, you have the unique experience here at the university of not only just being the coach here now, but you were the first ever coach here on campus. And in a university setting, how do you see soccer, especially at a school without football? You know, in the fall, you are kind of the #1 sport in terms of popularity.
We are the football team.
What do you see in the university setting in terms of affecting the culture?
I mean, as I said, obviously here in Cambridge, there's only so many what they call helmet sports. So we are the largest team on campus. The progress we've seen over the last 10 years, as most of you know, Lesley was an all-women's university for over 100 years. So when they went through the co-ed transition, they knew that athletics was going to be a key part of that. And soccer being a big sport, not only roster-wise, but it's a great, most of the kids that play soccer, it's proven GPAs and academics. Those are kids that, you know, they would consider quote-unquote smart kids. But the progress that we've done here through the men's program and the women's program has been tremendous. And it's just through recruiting and getting kids from all over the country that want to play and love the sport. Obviously want to come to a world-class city and such, but it's all about the sport. It's all about the actual participation. Our kids are just as excited as the people that you saw in the film about just being around one another and that camaraderie. You heard it over and over and over again from the director that it was just about the camaraderie and being together. And it happened to be soccer, but it could have been anything. But in this case, you know, once again, I'm just proud that it was soccer.
Yeah. Okay. Dan, going back to you. You said earlier on that you're from Needham, Mass, so you're local, you know. I know you now live in North Carolina. How did you end up doing a film about street soccer in New York? How did that come about?
Well, I was in New York at the time.
Okay.
So after we read the article, we traveled up to the shelter, which is in northern Manhattan. It's kind of on an island, 12 Wards Island. So we traveled up there, and that was the street soccer team at the time. Was practicing at the gym you saw in the film. They practiced there, and they joined a soccer league at Chelsea Piers, which is a really nice athletic complex in Manhattan. So they were playing in a league against teams of lawyers, you know, guys that work together, would play together. And, you know, you don't know who's who. These guys, they didn't know they were playing against almost team. They're now 2 teams in New York, and the organization's growing immensely right now. So yeah, that was just one team out of their 16 cities that participated in Street Soccer USA.
And you just happened to pick the team that won the championship, huh?
The ending worked out, you know, really well in their favor. It worked out well in our favor for the film. It was, we couldn't have asked we couldn't have written a better ending.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty cool to be a part of, and I'm glad we were able to capture it.
Good. Good. Jason, you're from Georgia, and we just saw a movie that basically was soccer in its purest form, right? 3-on-3, just roll the ball out and play. Try to see if you can talk to me about your personal experiences with the game, and I guess it's raw's purest form, and what that might be for you. I mean, it might not be obviously playing on the streets here or anything like that, but when you played pickup growing up, I mean, what was it like?
Jeez, we're going way back.
Look at the time capsule.
No, actually, I mean, my childhood growing up, you know, nowadays with the academies they have for kids and all the resources they have is tremendous, you know, and it's a luxury today for the kids to see they, you know, have those roads they can take to up their game. And really, when I was growing up, it was kind of like after school, my dad would drop me off in an indoor facility to go kick it around with a bunch of grown men, you know, and I would just go out there and have fun, and not really knowing I ever really, would go on to be as successful as I did. But at the time, being a kid, it was just kind of playing against older guys and having to play quick, and it kind of forced me to look at the game differently as I grew. But yeah, I remember that, and whenever I wasn't going to school, I had a soccer ball and I was playing. So for all you kids out there that love the game, that maybe want to dream of being a professional player one day, make sure you're getting a lot of touches on the ball. That would be my advice.
Now, one of the surprises we had in the film was someone was the same exact name as you.
And that's not me.
No. I don't think there's going to be any questions about that.
Yeah.
What other players, characters, scenes stood out for you from the film?
Well, I'd say Jason Moore, actually. Not because of the name, but just one of the things that stood out was the way that he was really strong in his faith. He talked a lot about, he was the one praying for the team, and that's really carried me through with my career and some of the highs and lows, and that's been the one constant thing for me, no matter what I've been experienced. As a number one draft pick to maybe sitting on the bench and not playing a lot. So I've been at both ends of the spectrum. So through those times, it's where do you turn and how do you kind of cope with those challenging times. And so that was one of the things that stood out, is he was the one that kind of brought the team together, and they'd ask him to be the one to pray for him and stuff like that. So I think that goes beyond soccer, and I think that spiritual part is great.
Yeah, agreed. Paul, you mentioned Jarvis stood out for you. You've coached a lot of players over the years, men, women, children, everything. Any players in the film that you went, oh, that's just like someone I coached? Because I'll tell you this, the coach in the film...
No, I already know the answer, so...
The coach in the film, I thought it was Matthew McConaughey,
But he was way too handsome.
I don't know how you cast him.
He was much too handsome for the role. But definitely Dexter, because I had a lot of guys that played for me that thought they were better than they really were. Guys who had a lot of attitude, strong personalities, second-guessing coaching staffs, and those guys, the ones that are the smartest guys that walk into every room that they're in, those are the guys you have to worry about. So I had a lot of Dexters that played for me through the years, as far as someone that I can really relate to, but I can't get over Jarvis. That's my guy. He just had a generally great smile. He was always in a good mood, and they talked about some of the problems and issues that he had been going through, but always in a good mood.
Okay, all right. Dan, do you have any favorite players? Are you allowed to say that?
I think it was a pleasure to shoot all these guys. I mean, as you can see in the film, they're just such an energetic, and there's so much personality on that team that it was a pleasure to be around those guys and get to know them.
Okay, all right. What's been the feedback of the film? How long has it been in production? What's the next steps for it? Where do you see it going?
Yeah, so right now we're doing screenings, just trying to get it out there for people to see, and we are talking with a few on-demand distribution companies, so hopefully soon it'll be available on the internet to stream.
And you can't illegally download it on YouTube, I think. All right.
It's not up there as far as I know yet.
Okay, all right. Now, what can you tell us about the history of the street soccer movement? I mean, how old is it? Where is it going? We saw some odd choices of cities, from Montgomery County, Alabama, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. To Fort Worth, Texas, to New York City, to some of the bigger names. I didn't see Boston, though.
There is not a Boston team. I think one was in the works a few years ago. It never quite came to fruition. But I mean, any city could use a team. So if anybody out there, is into this movement, which is such a great organization, get streetsoccerusa.org has all the information you might be interested in. Get a Boston team going. It'll be awesome.
It'll be awesome.
The organization started in Charlotte. Lawrence Kahn, who's interviewed quite a bit in the film, started a team down there. He explains a little bit about it in the film, and he moved to New York, started a team in New York, and just spread the word. And it's kind of individuals that are into this organization want to start a team, we start a team. It's in 16 different cities across the country, and there's a women's league now. They're spreading it out to having youth teams, and that's part of the tournament every year now. Now there's a West Coast tournament. It was just in New York. Well, it was just in East Coast in DC. Now it's in New York and San Francisco. So it's just
So we're really seeing some momentum for it.
absolutely
Great. Okay. Now, aside from the updates we saw in the film, any other updates on the players? Do you keep in contact with them? And anything you can offer there?
Lawrence, the director of the Street Soccer USA organization, he makes it a goal to stay in touch with as many players as he can. He told me that Ray, who is one of the goalies on the team, he's now traveling the world. He's a chef with the Ringling Brothers Circus, or I'm not sure, but Barnum would be like one of the major circuses. He's traveling the world working as a chef, incredibly successful. This is a guy who's homeless 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So he's,
And he was one of the two keepers. The other one, Andreas. That one. If you had a dry eye at the final scene, it wasn't from not watching Andreas. That was just incredible. This guy who clearly looked depressed at the beginning of the film, and you guys said it at the end. And that just seemed to change his life. Is that true? Is that what we're seeing?
Yeah, a lot of these guys, pretty much all these guys, will attribute their success to the soccer organization. 75% of participants that get involved in Street Soccer USA find jobs, housing, reconnect with families within a year. 75%. That's through soccer. That's a huge number. These guys will, this is why. Street
That's
Soccer
great.
USA is why. Yeah.
So the momentum's going. Hopefully we can just keep it growing. Any last thoughts, guys? Or good. All right. Well, I thought that was a great film. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Jason. Thank you to my staff, Joe McLean, Miles Kramer, Emily Procandrel, everyone who came tonight. Thank you so much. If you want to learn more, streetsoccer.org, or we'll have a link on sidekicksocceracademy.com as well. A big thank you to Lesley University for hosting us tonight. And again, thank you for all of us for coming out. Thanks, guys.